Welcome to the Place to Be Reviews. I'm Etep, right here with Trina and all of yous. Today, we are discussing Hell House LLC to the Abaddon Hotel in part 3, Lake of Fire. How you doing, Trina?
I'm well, happy to be here. Thank you for having me again.
Absolutely glad to have you back again. The Phantasm review was so much fun. I'm like, we should do these. We should do these together too. This would be fun.
Yeah, these are fun.
We'll start obviously with the Abaddon Hotel. Uh, I love the morning mysteries. Isn't that such a fantastic series? Uh,
That was actually awesome. I like how they did that.
it was. It
Like
was funny.
a show within a show, and it was well done. Really, really creative.
And then you get we have Mitchell, who is our survivor from the first investigative crew with Diane, and I can't remember the other videographer's name, but you have Mitchell and you have Brock. Was it Brock? Wasn't Brock Sampson? That's a character from The Simpsons, but it was. He's the paranormal investigator, who's on the panel, and then the guy from the city, who we'll get to who he turns out as, but he's the one that's defending, the honor of the hotel in the city against these, accusations of evil, as it were. So on the morning mystery show, we have the host Susie, and she's very perky, and that's perfect. I swear to God, she probably worked on Fox News at one point. But then you have Arnold Tasselman, who is the city councilman. You have Mitchell, the videographer, and you have Brock, our paranormal investigator, and they are all weighing in on the Abaddon tapes, as we had started with. Remember the guy's mom, who we start out with him getting, disappearing in there.
Yep.
And this, the thing with all these people going in there and live streaming it and then disappearing, it's like, what would make them, like, I understand like wanting to like explore, because what do they call them? There's like there's a name for like the urban exploring, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I don't get people are disappearing here and people died here, but hey, by all means keep running up in there. That's fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it came across to me like they were younger kids,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like they were totally doing it for clicks and likes, and because if you remember one scene where one of the dudes that was going in, and he was the one where the door opened for him.
Yes.
And as he's going in, he's like, "Oh, actually," and he says the girl's name, and he's like, "I'm wearing boxer briefs today." So it's totally like they're just they're younger kids doing this for clicks, for like whatever platform they're doing this on. I would say probably YouTube or TikTok or something like that. But yeah.
If it was for YouTube, they'd probably get some kind of community guidelines violations for it or something.
Yep.
Not bitter. But so we have our disappearances that take place, and it all leads to Mitchell, and Samantha. We have Jessica Fox, and Molly, and David, who is the cameraman for Jessica. He's dating Molly, who she works with them at that other show or website that they usually cover, like, what did she say, it was like politics and things like that.
Yeah.
And they call into the show and kind of throw some bait out there to get Mitchell back in, because Mitchell is adamant about not wanting to go back into the Abaddon, but he still, he wants to find out what happened to Diane. And is it me, or were they alluding with all that with him? There was actually like a relationship between him and Diane? Because they
didn't get into it, but the way he acts like so distraught over it, it does seem like there's definitely something more there.
Even if it was, if they never dated and he's still simping this hard after he knows she's gone, then you deserve what you get. You know, I mean, unless you're looking for a little ghost action there, which, I mean, I don't know if it works like the Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore movie in the Hell House verse, but, you know, remains to be seen. You know, Mitchell's looking a little ghost, like I said, a little ghost handy or so. I don't know, folks. I don't know. You two will ding me for that one. Jessica and them, they draw. Remember, they meet with Mitchell, and what did you think of like Jessica and their tactics? The one thing I liked about this was how they justified the fact that Jessica was filming everything that she was doing.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. I like how they're they're an investigative. I thought that was good because it made sense for them to want to find out what happened there, whereas other people it was just kind of like morbid curiosity or doing it for like clicks and whatnot. They seemed like they were a little more legit. They really wanted to find out.
Jessica and Molly are in their office and Dave is already filming, and they're like, oh, well, we film everything from start to finish, from the inception of a story to the execution of the investigation. So it's like, that's how they film like all their, the behind the scenes footage, because there's no real like firsthand footage. It's all like, oh, well, somebody's filming this. It's not just like a regular movie, as it were. It's all found footage, which is, like I said, that was cool because they're like, yeah, we film all our stories. So it's like, all right, we get that. Their plan, they're going to go in through the cornfield behind the house. Okay, because they still have police there guarding this place. We learn about the Russell Wynn character. We get some of the info on him in this because he's the financier in part 3. But they kind of talk about him a little bit in this one. What did you think of like their use of him as kind of like, in this one it was just, he was a name.
Yeah.
But in 3 we get the fully fleshed out character and the motivations for him.
It sets it up nicely because the way that he's kind of like just mentioned in Hell House 2, and then the way he's a main character, and you find out really what he's up to by the end of Hell House 3. I think it's well done the way it doesn't come out of nowhere. He's been like interested in this and wanting to do something with this for a while.
Yeah, kind of, behind the scenes, pulling the strings, and he was sending out the tapes and things like that.
Yeah.
He was editing the footage and sending it to the Morning Mysteries show. At the end of part 2, when they have, we're back on Morning Mysteries with Susie, when they're showing that footage from the episode, she talks about having him on the following week. He's supposed to be the guest. And it talks about him moving his show there. Mitchell and David and Molly and Jessica, their goal going into the Abaddon in this one is to retrieve there's footage in the basement, in the refrigerator, which we never saw that in the first one. We never saw the refrigerator in the basement.
Well, I think we got a glimpse of it. Like, we knew it was down there
because there was a lot of shots down there with the clowns and things of the like, but we never got a full on, it's here, this is where it is in relation to everything else. Molly stays outside. She's terrified. Good on her for being smart. It's like, hey, we're going to go into the place where all these people have disappeared and been murdered. We want you to stay outside and watch the door. Okay, that's a good gig.
Yeah, seeing how, what was her name? Sarah? Was her name Sarah from the first movie? The one that, the way she's like, says, at the end of Hell House 1, how, you should go check it out. And they have, like, that guy Mitchell, he had that footage, so he knows. It was kind of odd to me that he was still willing to go, even though he had seen all that.
That was a tactical error on Mitchell's part.
Yeah.
Returning that, having that knowledge and still going back there. I mean, I understand why he had to for the sake of the plot, but it's just like, if you look at it from like a realistic perspective, it's like, no. We have also speaking of Sarah, the 2 guys that were recording themselves that are talking about the fashion show they were at, and they pick Sarah up on the side of the road. That was a cool scene too, because it's just like, we have all these other disappearances here, and we're getting these throughout, And it's funny how you see the spirits, how it's like they can only leave the hotel when it's beneficial to the hotel. or else they can't.
Yeah, they can leave the hotel. Well, we find out why they can leave the hotel in the third one. Like, this is so well done because it's a big reveal in the third movie. You know, how is all this happening and why is all this happening? And then in the third one you get like all the answers, and it's so well done the way they did it, because it wasn't just, you can tell that they thought about how they were going to end this, like the series of movies. The way they worked up to it was really, I thought was awesome.
They really did. Stephen Cognetti, the writer and director of these, to his credit, has done a spectacular job of building a universe around that first movie that came out in 2015. Yep. 2014 or 2015. When I watched it, I thought it was a one-off, and then I look and it's like, oh, there's 2 more of these. Watch those and find out there's a Origin, well, Hell House Origins, Carmichael Manor dropping on Devil's Night this year, which is like great. And he said it's not a prequel per se. You know, it's world building, it's separate from this. There's references to, but it's not solely based on. This is a separate story in that universe, which I like. For what some of them lack in depth, the overall story makes up for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
The found footage genre can either be really, really good or really, really bad. And this is one of those really good ones.
It really is, because, well, for me personally, when I saw the first one and I loved it, and then I saw the second one, I was like, I don't know about this. So I just kind of forgot about it. But then I got back to it because you had mentioned you wanted to do this. And so I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to give this another shot. I ended up really loving it. And because I don't usually like found footage, Cognetti did an awesome job with this, because almost feeling like, wow, is this based on a real story? Does, like, especially the first one, you come away thinking, you know, you start researching, wait a minute, is Hell House real? And did this really happen? And when found footage does that, that's well done.
Yeah, I had to look it up too, because I was thinking that it was based on some sort of true story, at least some sort of real event, because the way the first one started, you're like, is this just some random like occurrence that happened at a, you know, haunted house attraction? This is one of those cases in the genre where it was well done. I didn't really see that big of a dip in quality between the first and second one, but I think where they used the jump scares and the tropes in this, I think it worked to the benefit of the movie, honestly, upon a second viewing.
I agree. Hell House 2 is, I think, just as good as the first one.
Let's talk about some of the deaths here. We can start with Brock. Paranormal psychic investigator Brock, a little bit full of himself. When he goes right to the dining room and he's got his planchette and he does the yes and no on the table, woo, did he get offed quick.
That was great. I love how, like, all of a sudden, are you lying to me and stuff? Because he's like not getting the answers he thinks he's gonna get, and all of a sudden that dead girl, like,
she does one of these. She's
and they're like,
around.
whoa, it's and the way that they have the camera move, like, it feels real. It doesn't feel like a filmed movie. It feels like someone is actually following, you know, is there holding a camera. That just really adds to the authentic feel of it. Yeah, that was a very good jump scare scene.
When they walked into the room and they weren't paying attention, they turned back around and the nooses were there.
Yes.
And they still decided to sit down like idiots. And well, Brock sat down and wanted to do his little seance with his, homemade Ouija board, which kids just don't. If you're ever under the, guise that I can do this and nothing, for the love of God, don't do it in your own home. That opens up an entirely new set of problems. You do it in a neutral location. Maybe somebody you don't like, go to their house, an ex or something. We said that the girl in the chair, like, there's a bunch of dummies sitting in there, and I don't think the cameraman caught that, but when he pans back, she's fucking standing up. That's when they freak out. And they go to leave and run into her in the hallway. The eyes are glowing and those two are dead. The camera, you get that glitch in the camera. We don't see them for a while until Fearsome Foursome is running around, which we have Jessica, David, and Mitchell in the basement, in the freezer down there. And the clowns are still sitting down there. We get a really creepy shot. David has his camera placed facing like the door angled. And did you catch that part where the clown walked by? I think it was he walked by. And that, yeah.
It was very subtle.
Very. And that's what I like about this. When they do things like that, it's just like a quick, and it's not a lot of lingering on it. You know, it's a quick kind of thing. It's a blinker, you'll miss it.
Yeah.
And it was the same way they did with, I'm trying to think, Paul, the cameraman and the main cameraman in the first one, where the clown's standing by the stairs, and it's a clip I used in the beginning of my video I did today, and he's standing there like this, and all of a sudden his head turns.
Yeah.
You know, when he pans away down the stairs, pans back, and the fucking head's looking at him.
Yeah.
It's little things like that, and it's so effective but so simplistic. It just I think that's what brings that fear into it.
Yeah, I agree. It's the subtlety of it makes it more creepy. It's not so when it's so in your face, you're kind of expecting it, and you kind of get a little bit numb to it. But when it's really subtle, and you're kind of like you're like, oh, what's going on, what's happening, and then these little subtle things are happening. Like you're really into it, you're really immersed in it.
Yeah, and it doesn't take you out of the movie at that point.
Yes,
that's a big problem with a lot of the effects is they can take you out of a movie or the scenes of the violence or the kills if they're just ham-fisted. They keep flashing back and forth between the morning mysteries and the current, the footage from the hotel room. And the whole time you've got the Tasselman character, Arnold Tasselman, and Mitchell, arguing back and forth on the show. David and Molly and Jessica. Molly has received a radio transmission from them, and they told her to come inside the house, remember? Because they needed an extra set of hands. And they're like, what the hell? We didn't tell you to come back in. So they go upstairs. They go upstairs to meet her. Or David does. David goes up there. And this is where things start to unfold for the four of them here. Well, they're running around because they start to see everything starts to happen. Everything's coming to life. But David gets killed, and he never got those. Remember, he wanted his nachos? David gets killed, and he never got his nachos. He died wanting nachos. Poor David.
Yeah.
We have Mitchell and Molly and Jessica running around, freaking out, not able to escape. They get separated, I want to say, because Molly and Jessica end up bound in the dining room. Well, they run into Brock and his cameraman hanging there at first, and then they end up getting caught, Molly and Jessica. This is where we get the reveal that Arnold Tasselman is actually Andrew Tully. He's going to force Mitchell to choose which one of them gets to leave the hotel. He says you have to make some tough choices now. This was really cool because he made Mitchell run the camera. Tully's voice changing from his normal voice to that demonic pitch, which I thought was really cool and really well done because it wasn't showing him on camera when he did it.
Yeah, that was good. The way that they changed his voice, it made it really feel he was definitely demonic, and there was a lot more going on.
Because of Mitchell's refusal to choose quickly, lovely Molly, as the note said, when she was down in the basement with the clowns, so they left that on the door. I forgot about that part where they're hiding in the room, the lights off, and she ended up disappearing, and they found the note on the door. Lovely Molly is down in the basement with her friends, and she was down there with the clowns, and one of them had a knife to her throat. Jesus, what a scene. But so she gets stabbed right in the gut. Like, she's done. That leaves Jessica and Mitchell. Mitchell meets his demise, so that leaves Jessica. When we see her show up in the police station, that scene where the phone rings and the cop gets up to get the phone, and it pans across, and you see her face turn into that demonic smile that almost looked Joker-esque, didn't it?
Yeah, I loved that part. That gave me creeps when I saw it.
The wife and I both had that same reaction. I was like, oh, did you just see, did we rewind that? It was so subtle and well done. I really, really dug that because that leads perfectly into, the end of it where you have the host of the show, Susie, and she's talking to her, like her PA after they wrap. She's like, we had a call from Arnold Tasselman. He said he apologized missing the show. and he will, he promised to make it up, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, well, the same Arnold Tasman that was just here. That was like, oh shit. Like, you can kind of see it on her face. Like she's confused, but she's like, no, it's a prank, like whatever. But that really led into the third one perfectly. What were your overall thoughts of 2 before we get into part 3?
Like I said, I thought it was really well done. I thought the way that they continued it from the first one was pretty seamless, especially because they've got Mitchell there, who he was the guy reviewing the tapes in the first movie. So that was a good, like, to have him in 2, having the common thread there. And then the way that they incorporated like cutscenes from the first movie, put it into this one, I thought, melded it together well. And yeah, just the way that they executed the story overall was well done. I just like the way that 2 was done. Found footage is usually not my thing, and I really loved this, so I gotta say that it's just well done.
They really do. They blended these 2 together, and like I said, Susie at the end of the Morning Mystery Show teases that Russell Wynn will be her guest the following week, which leads into part 3. And we get the full-on reveal of who Russell Wynn is. He's moving his play Insomnia to the Abaddon Hotel. Why are you doing this? When you're first watching the movie, it's like, do you have a death wish for you and your cast? Or am I missing something here?
The way that they started 3 was great. I love how it starts with the guy who wrote the Abaddon tapes. His name is Robert Lyons. He's like a documentarian. He's like, I had a feeling you'd call me. And he's like, boy, where to begin? And I just love that, because that felt like when you sit down to watch a real documentary on something, you have someone like that in the beginning. It just really felt authentic, and I got a kick out of that.
That is just another one of those little touches they did to make this movie feel more authentic, like it was actually a documentary. Yeah, this one, Hell House 3, is Lake of Fire. This one came out in 2019. Remember, we get Father Paulus in this one. Theodore Boulakos is, you think he's Greek? is the actor that plays Robert Lyons. But yeah, we have Jeff Stone, who is Russell's right-hand man in this. Then we have Russell, of course, and Harvey was Jeff's boyfriend. Okay, and he was in charge of like technical things and wardrobe. The cast of actors in this, and I don't mean the actors as in the actors in the actual movie, but the stage play part of it, they were just so insufferable.
Well, they were actors.
Actually rooting for them to get brutally murdered.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, please.
Yeah, that dude that was playing Faust, he really had like that snobby attitude down pat. He's like, and my name is, and I can't remember what he said, and then he's like, and I'm the main character, of course. And it's like, oh man, yeah, these are actors.
The ego is on full display. Well, the one girl, she tries to quit. The way they set the house up in this, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, I see doing a play. If you're going to have that big of a crowd like they were talking about, it's like there's some very narrow passages. How are you going to fit these people in there and the actors? How is Russell willing to put the audience at risk? You know what I mean?
Maybe there was no intention of them getting out. The
allegory that they're doing Faust, and this movie is basically good versus evil. So it's kind of, a double-edged deal here. We find out that Russell, remember, he's going to liquidate his assets at midnight because the reporter, is it Vanessa, is the reporter, and she's afraid to go in. She doesn't want to go in. She was all gung-ho about it until they actually get there, and then she's, I don't want to go. But she exposes the fact that, which breaks pretty much, I don't know how many journalistic laws, by, going public with his thing. He's liquidating all his assets as of midnight, which Jeff didn't even know, Harvey didn't know, none of the actors knew. But you listen to him talk, the actors all through the movie, it's like, well, he paid us so much money that's why there's no way we could turn this down. There's some cool scenes in here with ghosts, of the former cast appearing in the background of shots. And I love that scene in the heaven area, the hallway, where I think it's Vanessa. She sees one of the angels comes to life and it has like the black eyes. She doesn't want to appear weak in front of her male coworker. Like there's people that have been killed here. I'm pretty sure nobody's gonna be like, "Ha, that's a female trait. You don't want to die." It's like, no, that's pretty much just human intuition.
Yeah.
What did you think of the way they kind of introduced that into the denouement of this?
I loved it. The whole cult thing was set up in two, and
Yep.
I love that. I think it's a good explanation as to why all the stuff is happening in this house. Gives the supernatural backstory to it, and that was an awesome reveal for the story, I thought.
Yeah, it really worked. And it's just more good writing on the part of Cognetti. I listened to some reviews of this. They went back and forth between which one they thought dipped more, 2 or 3, slightly maybe in 2, but I really don't see anything that hurt the franchise moving forward in either of these.
No, definitely not. I feel like the way it went, the first one to the second one to the third one, it moved forward like expectedly. There were no like wrenches, like, wait a minute, that doesn't jive with what we saw in the previous one. Seems like he had an outline as to how it was going to progress. One thing I did want to mention is how they're doing a play of Faust. And Have you heard the term Faustian bargain? So a Faustian bargain is you basically will give up your soul in order for like worldly riches. If you remember at the end of 2, when they showed some end credits, they showed, like Alex and Mac and all talking in that diner. Yeah, they're talking about how there's a plan to get them out of the trouble that Alex got them into with the money and all that. This kind of sets it like Faustian bargain there, where it seems to me that Alex made a deal with Tasselman to, I'll get you out of this jam. All you have to do is whatever it was he wanted them to do, but they ended up being stuck in the house. And that's the Faustian bargain. And then in 3, they're doing a play of Faust. Like, I just think that's brilliant.
It really is. We do have the scene though. I think it was in part 2 they show the tape with Alex with Tully or Tasselman in the house. That meeting, that was good because that leads into 3.
Yeah.
So, and then we find out in 3 that Russell Wynn is actually an angel.
Yeah.
And
that blew me away.
Yes. I think it was Latin on the wall, which translated into, was it the door or the gate is open?
Yeah, either it makes sense, yeah.
You hear the dialogue that no mortal can close that door.
Yep.
So enter Russell Wynn. He's an angel. Okay, so this is Faust kind of playing out in this, like you said. And you don't see this in these, and I said this in my video earlier, I called it a lower budget horror. And I don't mean that as a negative. But it was a lower budget film that really surprised everybody with how well it was written and executed. All 3 of them.
Yeah, absolutely. There are some awesome low budget horror movies out there, and there are some really bad high budget movies out there. A good writer can do a lot with a small budget.
That gives me hope as a aspiring indie film writer. That gives me hope. That you see stuff like this, and it's inspiring to be like, this is something that's possible and achievable with the right amount of sauce in the writing. I love the scenes, even the scenes with the portals opening and all the black cloaks coming out of them in this. It didn't ever really look bad. No,
it really didn't. I thought it was well done. It was filmed very well.
Yeah, those were great, and then we get. I love after everything, the dust settles on it. I'll let you go ahead and talk about the climax to this and how they close it and how they finally quote unquote defeat Tully.
Portal gets opened and we see those cloaked guys and there's like the cult on full display. Russell went into the portal. He went in and that is what closed the gate, like, because he's gone after whole house it's burned down and and it's over, and they're able to leave. That's what closed the gate and what made the spirits no longer able to leave the house. Like, you know how we saw in the second movie the girl on the side of the road, and she's actually part of the one of the spirits that are trapped in the house. Now all those spirits that are there can't leave anymore because that portal was closed. And because Russell had appeared to the original crew, and they were like, what's going on, we can't leave. And he said, I closed the gate, now it's time to move on. And they were like, okay, we're gonna go to the bar. So it's like they're just gonna stay there forever. They're not moving on.
All the other people got kind of teleported out into the cornfield, like they were safe. Everybody, he saved, Russell saved everybody.
And he sacrificed himself.
Yep.
Basically.
It was an ending I did not expect.
It worked awesome. It was like that sense of relief after that you don't usually get in horror.
To see like something actually turn out well. This universe that Cognetti has built it paid off in the third film. I think that was a great payoff and a go home for the original trilogy.
Yeah, absolutely. I really loved the ending. I felt like it good conclusion, and it was executed well, and it was really like, it was surprising because at the end of the movie, I'm thinking, as they're going through the rubble and stuff, I'm thinking, okay, and I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, but that didn't happen. It's like, wait, we just actually got a good ending in a horror movie, and it was kind of refreshing.
Yeah, we don't get those very much. It's always about one more kill, one more scare on camera or ambiguously done off camera via just a noise or something of that nature, just a quick blink and you'll miss it shot. But no, we get a actual happy ending in this, and we weren't at a Chinese massage parlor, which was fantastic. That leads into Hell House Origins, which this one takes place in 2021. That's the prequel, not prequel, I'm sorry. I don't want to call it a prequel. It's not. It's a film set in the same universe as this, which the house, the Carmichael Manor, is actually located in Rockland County, New York, in the film, the cinematic universe, which lends more credence to this. And the murders in that house supposedly took place in 1989, which is what, we got years and years before the happenings of the original Hell House, which was 2009, I think it was, or 2008. You have people going and investigating this manor in 2021. It's very cool, and I'm so looking forward to this. Have you seen the trailer yet?
Yeah, I did.
But I thought the trailer was freaking scary.
Yeah, the trailer definitely is awesome, and it makes me definitely want to see the movie. I'm looking forward to it.
It gave more backstory to the clowns.
Yeah. I'm looking forward.
Where did these clowns come from?
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking forward to finding out where those clowns came from. I wonder if they'll leave it. I wonder if they'll still leave it ambiguous.
The way it looked like because they said there was three girls, the mom and two daughters, and then there was the dad and the son. The three females got murdered, and the dad and the son have been missing ever since. Because I believe there was a scene where they showed them dressed as the clowns. What happened there to lead, them killing their, the sisters and the mom. If that's really what happened or, whatever. But yeah, I'm so excited for this movie to come out. I really am.
Yeah, this is going to be great.
I'm glad it'll be available on Shudder, but I almost wish this got a theatrical release. I really think this would be a cool movie to see in a theater.
It would. It would be awesome if they would do all of them in the theater.
I would sit through that because they're not long movies.
No, they're not, and they keep you engaged the whole time.
Yeah, everything moves and flows from scene to scene. There's I didn't find any real lagging areas in any of them where I was like checking my watch or looking at my phone.
That's true. I got the same feeling. It was very well paced, and it was like it's going to keep going, and yeah, your eyes are glued to the screen the whole time.
pacing is such a issue with some horror franchises that it was good to see this one actually worked well. The first 3 movies, I hate to shoot high, but I mean, to me, if I have to rate all 3 of them, a very generous 7.5 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree with
trilogy.
that.
Don't have any issues with this, much the way you do when I say Friday the 13th is part 6 is the best one in the entire franchise.
Well, we're just going to have to agree to disagree on some things.
That's a teaser. That's a teaser for your Friday the 13th stream.
Well, we'll be doing 7 on my channel Wednesday.
Yep. It's not like I don't like the movie. I love part 7. I thought it was a very cool way to have somebody that can kind of go toe-to-toe with Jason. But I'm not going to give away too much because you're going to have to wait till Wednesday at 7 p.m. on Trina's channel, Real Horror, to get into that discussion.
Thank you.
Oh, you're absolutely welcome. And Friday the 13th, right now, in the polls, part 3 is leading part 4 handily. I believe it was 70-30 last time I checked. So it looks like, unless something monumental happens in the next 6 days, which voting will stay up for the next 6 days, we'll be watching part 3 Friday the 13th 3D. Trina, thank you for joining for this. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun. You can find me right here on YouTube at Real Horror. That's our EEL. Wednesdays at 7 p.m. we do horror movie reviews. That's about it. Hope you all enjoyed this review. And I feel like this was awesome and I had a lot of fun.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's been great. And yeah, Trina also does my intro for all the live streams. You'll hear those dulcet tones at the beginning introducing me, which I appreciate her recording that for me. And this has been a blast. Thank you again for joining me, Trina.
Yes, thank you.
And if you guys want more horror content, keep it locked right here on the channel. So thank you for joining us. Hit that like button, subscribe. Trina's link is in the description. I'm Etep from The Place to Be Reviews. We have been here with all yous. We don't see you. Have a great day, a pleasant tomorrow, and we will catch you on the